Welcome to Spooky News from Spooky Ventures for June 14th, 2019. We've got a lot of good stuff for you, so let's just get on with it. A guy named Simon Carrison is from Lincoln in the UK, which I guess is in an area called the East Midlands. In any event, he's getting a lot of publicity because he posted a couple pictures of a UFO that he took. Now, he has kindly given me permission to include those pictures in this video, so you can have a look at them and see what you think. I think they're pretty cool looking pictures. I don't know what it is, but then again, that's what an unidentified flying object is, right? If you're a big fan of going on ghost events, I'm going to be in the Houston area in July. The Battleship Texas is going to be hosting some ghost hunts on June 15th and July 13th. So one in June and one in July if you're going to be there. The ship is supposed to be very haunted, so it should make for an interesting excursion. The Galvez Hotel in Galveston, Texas has been doing some dinner ghost tours occasionally for years now because apparently the hotel is quite haunted. But they've recently upped their ghost game by offering lunch ghost tours on every Thursday. So if you're going to be in the Galveston area, it might be cool to go check that out. It's one thing to go on ghost hunts. It's an entirely different thing to buy a haunted house and live there. But if you're interested in doing that and you want to move to Essex in the UK, a town called St. Osyth, I believe is the pronunciation. I could be completely wrong on that. But in any event, there's a house going up for sale that was at one time a jail for women accused of being witches, and it's supposedly very haunted, as you could imagine, with that kind of a reputation. The rumors have been around for hundreds of years because it was used in the 1500s for the witch jail. And it has a nickname. Let me see what that nickname is. It's called the Cage. So you can own the cage for yourself and go live in there. There have been all kinds of stories of hauntings in there over the years. There might be a really good reason to be in Orlando, Florida this fall. Orlando, or Universal Orlando, is going to be having their Halloween Horror Nights, which apparently they do every fall, but this year they're going to be focusing heavily on 1980s horror films. So that should be an interesting twist on something that I'm sure a lot of people have already been enjoying. Now, there aren't a lot of details released yet, but at least we know the general theme. they're playing with, and there's a lot of good stuff within the 80s for horror movies, so it should be worth checking out. If you have plans to be in Ireland this October, I would plan to be there around Halloween because from October 31st to November 2nd, they're going to be celebrating what they call a Puka Festival, although I may not be pronouncing it right. Yes, my grandfather was Irish, but I don't have the accent. In any event, the festival celebrates the fact that Halloween was actually started in Ireland. Well, at least that's what archaeologists and historians think. And so they're trying to get back and reclaim those roots of Halloween. So I can't think of a better place to go check out Halloween and experience it as it was supposed to be experienced. So if you were planning a trip to Ireland and can change the dates to be there, please do. And if not, or if you're already going to be there, go ahead and try to arrange to get to the festival. New track, Dreams in the Witch House Sanitarium, which is, of course, related to Lovecraft's story, Dreams in the Witch House, has been released that features former Kiss guitarist Bruce Kulick and also Wasp guitarist Douglas Blair. And the song was available as a free download for the first 200 people. It's apparently a new version of a song that was released a while ago on a concept album. But it's certainly worth checking out. I've added a video for the original version of the song as part of the playlist under music videos for Spooky Ventures YouTube, so you can check that out. But be sure to try to check out the new song too. When the movie Blair Witch was released, it kind of revolutionized horror films by introducing the whole found footage concept to it. Now, mind you, that isn't necessarily a new concept with it, but it was something that hadn't been done, at least for a long time, at that sort of level. So now there's a new video game that's a first person video game coming out of Blair Witch. Microsoft made the announcement at the E3 convention recently, and apparently it's going to be for Xbox and also for PC. And it is coming August 30th, so if you've got the system and want to give that a try, I bet it should be a pretty cool game. It seems like that movie concept would be pretty well adapted to a video game. There's another new video game that should be of interest to people into horror. Uh, it's called Midnight Ghost Hunt, and it's just going into alpha testing very soon. And apparently, it has sort of a Ghostbusters kind of feel. At least that's what I've heard. And you either play the ghosts who are trying to hide from and mess with the investigators, or you play the investigators who have all kinds of equipment to try to get the ghosts out. So it should be kind of cool. And like I say, it's going to be an alpha testing coming this summer. So keep an eye out for that. Maybe you can check it out and become an alpha tester. The FX network has tentatively started looking into producing a TV series based on a novel called Speaks the Nightbird. I really hadn't heard about the novel, but I guess it's a horror story about witches and things like that, set in the late 1600s, early 1700s. And I'm sure there are plenty of people who really enjoy the book and would love to see a TV series. So hopefully it moves forward. It's sort of in very preliminary stages right now. A lot of people grew up watching the show Are You Afraid of the Dark? And Nickelodeon is rebooting the show, so that's a good thing for those who really like that show. They're going to have three brand new episodes in October, and that sounds like a great opportunity for some nostalgia or maybe to introduce some kids who never saw it to the show. In any event, it leaves one with one question: are you afraid of the dark? So apparently, there's a new platform, I guess you would call it, called Quibi, which stands for Quick Bits, and it's all about short little films apparently, and it's, from what I can gather, strictly streaming for devices. And Steven Spielberg is going to be doing a new series for it. The really kind of bizarre thing about that is that you can literally only watch it at night. Well, yeah, I suppose you could if you can convince your watch it at a different time if you can convince your device that it's night. But apparently, the your device will keep track of what time the sun sets in your area and is not supposed to allow you to watch the show until after sunset. So that's kind of a bizarre little twist. I don't know if you consider that gimmicky or not. It might be, but in any event, it's kind of cool. Might be interesting to see what Spielberg and Quibi have in store for us with all of that. We've got quite a bit of movie news for this time. We'll start with The Conjuring 3. I know a lot of people really like that series of movies, and they have just started filming the third movie. So that's something I'm sure fans of that series will have to look forward to. In further movie news, fans of Stephen King and fans of vampires both should be pretty pleased to hear that New Line Cinema is planning a new version of Salem's Lot. I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed the original, and I'm hoping they do some great things with the new one. I don't know about you guys, but I've always loved Shaun of the Dead, and the team from that, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, are planning a movie about a serial killer now. They're billing it as, or at least it's being billed as a horror movie. Now, I don't know if it's going to be the horror comedy kind of thing that Shaun of the Dead was, but either way, it ought to be pretty darn cool. The title is Civolta. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's the title they're working with, and it should be pretty cool. It's been 35 years since the first Ghostbusters movie came out, and we've got some news now about a new Ghostbusters movie from the original team, or at least part of the original team who made the first two. This one's going to be called Ghostbusters 3, or at least that's what's being reported. Now, I know there was another movie, sort of a reboot, that came out a couple of years ago. While I thought that movie was okay, it didn't get rave reviews from a lot of people, and I think a lot of people just sort of want to forget it ever existed. And well, however you feel about that, in any event, they're doing Ghostbusters 3. Sigourney Weaver's on board, Dan Aykroyd's on board, Bill Murray's on board. So you got to kind of like that. I know I love both of those first two original movies. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Let's hope they do a great job of it. As a kid growing up watching the old Banana Splits TV series, that thing was pretty weird to begin with. I mean, it just was trippy and didn't make a heck of a lot of sense back then. So I guess maybe to some degree there's a certain amount of okay, that keeps with the story to know that they're making a horror movie out of it. But now news came out this week that the horror movie of the Banana Splits is getting an R rating. Also, there's a brand new trailer out there that you can get a look at it. And the trailer looks every bit as bizarre as the old show. So, from that point of view, at least it makes sense. I'm not sure how much it makes sense beyond that, but yeah, give it a look and see what you think. Two spooky movies open today. The first is called Head Count, and it's about a group of teens who accidentally awaken a demon. That sounds like it should be pretty cool. Perhaps Evil Dead sort of thing, at least in the theme. And the other one is, of course, The Dead Don't Die, which is the new zombie comedy movie with Bill Murray and other guys. That looks like it should be pretty good. So get out there and check those out. That's a wrap for another edition of Spooky News from Spooky Ventures. Be sure to check out next week's edition, and if you haven't seen the earlier ones, be sure to check out our YouTube channel for lots more. There's one every week for the past few weeks. We've got a lot of other cool things there too, audiobooks, old radio shows, and some other great stuff in the works soon. Spooky Ventures is the home for spooky content and spooky merchandise on the web. Check it out today at spookyventures.com. And remember, always keep it spooky.